There is no such thing as a perfect controller, or is there? In times when the best controller for PC is not available for purchase, comes time for decent price analogs. With dimmer sticks, Hall effect triggers and built-in gyro. GameSir Cyclone 2. When I failed to order Steam controller, my mind started to request something new, some new controller, some new experience like dimmer sticks or perfect wireless connection or maybe Hall effect triggers and decent feel buttons. And technically, this controller checks all the boxes easily. Sure, no trackpads, sure, it doesn't scream when you put it very hard on the bed, and not of great repairability, but it got customizable RGB, so that's important. Well, advertising aside, this controller suits for all the systems, starting from Switch and ending with iPhone and Android. Also, it has TMR sticks, Hall effect triggers, it has very good sounding mouse click sounding like buttons on the body itself. Also, it has 3.5mm audio jack, 2 backside buttons which can be switched to whatever button you'd like. It has up to 1000 Hz polling rate for the wireless and wired connectivity. As you can see, it has RGB which is programmable as well. The triggers are not only Hall effect, but also they can be modified. They're modified very easily, starting from the full way trigger and ending with the trigger with a very little response time. Perfect for shooters when points of seconds really does matter. And as told before, a perfect RGB, very good customizable software, and that's all for 45 years, for 55 with the dock, which you should totally get. The box contains the controller itself, the 2.4 GHz dongle, cable, papers, and in case you get the more expensive version, you also get a dock which can charge the controller as well. As you can see here, it has 4 pogo pins which can charge the controller itself, and also the charging dock also has RGB built into it, so you should totally get it, but unfortunately in my region there was only the cheapest version available of the Cyclone 2 from GameSir. But what about the outer layer of the controller? The outer layer has non-slippery texture, but compared to Xbox controller, it's not rubber, it's plastic, just plastic non-slippery texture, which means that during some pretty intense fighting or pretty intense games or competitive games, this controller won't slide in your hands like at all, and compared to the Xbox, it won't wear out like the rubber which usually wears out, like for example on this Starfield controller, where you can see in some places the rubber grips have a bit weared out compared to the texture which is plastic, which won't wear down as easily as the rubber on the Starfield controller from Xbox. From the feelings of the body, it's something in between of the new Xbox controller and the old Xbox controller. As you can see here, I have 2 controllers, the Starfield one as a new controller and the Cyberpunk 2077 one as an old one, and as you can see, they are pretty similar between one another, but not to the controller which I have the GameSir in my right hand right now. What are the similarities? The body resembles me the controller of the Starfield. It's also pretty heavy, it has rubber grips, it is pretty heavy, and also it has, as you can see here, the Starfield controller has see-through triggers, which you cannot adjust unfortunately, but you can see the motors here, by the way. But you cannot see the motors under the triggers of the GameSir controller, but the triggers are adjustable, and also there you have see-through triggers, meaning that it's pretty similar. Talking about triggers itself, it has also non-slippery texture which resembles the new Xbox controller, but the buttons, the right and left button, they are not so non-slippery, only the part of it, so it resembles the old controller. In terms of buttons, the buttons are very clicky, it resembles very much a mouse click, and is very perfect in that term. And of course, talking about the body is available in two colors. It would be black and white. Of course, the RGB would be better seen in the white version, but black is more subtle. And also, I have seen that on AliExpress, the dock, which you can get separately, only the black version of the docking station. As told before, this controller has TMR sticks with customizable curve and dead zone via the application for the PC, and Hall effect triggers which can be set up to esports mode via switch built into the controller itself. The rest of the buttons have really good click to it and are really responsive, not only because of the controller can be connected via the wire, but also it can be connected via Bluetooth to the smartphone, for example, or 2.4 GHz dongle to any device that has USB port. But that's not it as well, because up to 1000 Hz polling rate is also very impressive for such inexpensive device, but that's available in the software. But before we talk about the software, I've met connectivity issues with the controller. Controller didn't see the dongle. Solution is pretty simple. Update software for the dongle, hold the button on the dongle and insert it into the USB port while software is open. Then update software on the controller itself. Just connect the controller via the USB wire, then reboot controller, hold power button and screenshot button for around 7 seconds, and wait for the reboot. And controller will see the dongle and you'll be able to customize settings inside the app on your PC. But talking about the app is great. It's not too cluttered. While having lots of options to customize experience, it isn't too cluttered. And first of all, controller has 4 built-in profiles, meaning it can be changed on the fly via mode button. Then everything from polling rate to the curve of the TMR sticks until checking of the input can be done in one app. Sure, I'd prefer more if it would be the web-based application, but downloading software, downloading software it is. But what about the gyroscope? The device for under 50 euros has gyroscope, which is turned off by default, but you can activate it mid-game by pressing button if you'd like. For me, that's left backside button, while the right one is duplicating the button B. Default settings are pretty good, but you would prefer to have back buttons customized, same as the gyro, which works pretty decent for the price. RGB can customized as well, and most importantly turned off as well, because it's not only the good thing to conserve battery, but it's also nice to have options. Battery is pretty good as well. It has 800 mAh, meaning for gameplay on 1000 Hz polling rate with RGB on, it is enough for me to play for around 2 to 3 days of playing, so essentially I'd say it will live for around 24 hours with RGB turned on. With RGB off, of course, the battery will live much longer. And here we have charging dock. The charging dock where it comes in and where I would like to have it. Because charging dock means that you have specific place to place your controller on the desk, and also it means that you have not only something beautiful with RGB, another RGB gadget on your desk, but also it charges your controller since the controller has pogo pins and can be charged almost wirelessly. But fortunately, you can pick up the dock on the AliExpress, so essentially I'll order it and see how it will fit on my desk setup. The aesthetics of the controller is similar to the Starfield controller 1. So if you like futuristic industrial aesthetics, you will like this controller as well. Of course, from the technical point of view, this controller is much better than the Starfield 1 because it works wirelessly much greater, it has 2.4 GHz connectivity, it works better via the wire because it has 1000 up to 1000 Hz polling rate, you can customize almost everything you would only need, starting from the sticks and ending with triggers, and some of which you can customize on the fly. You also have the same vibration, of course Starfield 1 also has vibration, but vibration can be customized in the GameSir Cyclone 2 controller, and it's really interesting. Also, compared to the Starfield controller, here you have the docking station for the dock for the phone if you would like to use this controller with your phone on iOS or Android, for example. But returning to the start of the video, is this controller better than Steam controller? For the price? Sure. And you can try out TMR stakes with this controller, which doesn't drift, customize everything from curve to dead zone of the stake, have very precise Hall effect triggers which can be modified to the low travel distance triggers on the go, and even understand if you need gyroscope on your controller. So, spoiler, you don't. And at the moment, when Steam controller is not available for purchase officially, this device is a good thing to try out the new technologies, and it's not very expensive as well. It uses X input method, so compared to Steam controller, it will be supported not only in Steam but also on other devices, like for example Nintendo Switch, or via Bluetooth on smartphones, and also it will be possible to use this controller not only with Steam but also, let's say, GOG or Epic Game Store, so meaning this controller is very multifunctional. The vibration is decent, and as you can see it has two motors. Sure, not four like the Steam controller, but still these two work really great. And since one is more powerful and one is less powerful, so tactility of the typical Xbox controller is preserved, and same as with the other stuff, you can customize intensity of vibration in the application itself, or even on the fly while playing the game. So for the price, it is a really well-built controller with lots of new technologies and really great response time. For me, it is a perfect replacement for Steam controller since I do not use trackpads even on my Steam Deck, and all the rest is available here for half the price of the Steam controller, which by the way has polling rate of only 250 Hz, instead of 1000 like on this GameSir Cyclone 2.